It's nuts, but he gets real comfortable now.
Yeah.
So like in the middle, what game was it, bro? It was a big game. I think it was the TJ game. Me and your dad got suspended at, and it's like the end of the game. It's like a 3-point game.
Yeah.
We're in a huddle, and Troy's talking, and Arnell just comes in. He's like, 1, 2, 3, Tigers! In the middle of the timeout.
Shit. Gotta go for the goal, yeah, we gotta win. All heart and the soul, yeah, we putting in the trenches with the brothers, gotta play to win. One more play, then we in the ship. One more game, we gon' get a win. Fight through pain, I can never quit. One more play, then we in the ship. One more play, then we in the shit. Gotta go for the goal, yeah, we gotta win. All heart and the soul, yeah, we putting in the trenches with the brothers, gotta play to win. One more play, then we in the shit. One more game, we gon' get a win. Fight through pain, I can never quit. One more play, then we in the shit. One more play, then we in the shit. From the goal
Nah, but man, this is a long time coming, right, BB?
Yeah,
it's probably like a year.
Coming up on a year, we're trying to get together.
Yeah.
So we've finally been able to get in here.
That's my fault because I don't schedule.
Long overdue.
I'm the worst. I'll be like, yeah, just like today.
Right.
I'll be there 7:30, like 8 o'clock.
You busy man, dog. You busy man.
I think I can stretch time.
Yeah.
You ever been like that? You have the whole day.
I'm
I'm the opposite.
about to say, I'm like that.
No, you're on.
If I say I'm gonna be there at 7, I'm probably gonna be there at 6:50.
Like today, he say you don't meet me at 7.
Because like for me, I'd rather be 2 hours early than 2 minutes late.
Yeah.
That's how I.
See, I'm like time wait for me. Like
That's how I think.
So it doesn't wait for
like
right.
Hey, Miles scoring tonight or not?
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about right now.
Yeah, but this was long overdue, man. So appreciate you inviting us into the store.
Always. What's mine is yours.
Opening it up, man, because this is a conversation that we've been wanting to have, right? So
I love that. I love it.
Just because you've been doing big things, man, and everybody's been noticing it. So we was like, it's only right because not only were you a student athlete, but you've also been in the coaching, and now you're doing a lot of different things with your clothing with the athletes. So I was like, it's only right that we come and we get Jared on, Mr. NOLAC.
Yeah. Hearing that cracks me up, honestly. People think it's my last name, and I'm like, no. But it's probably safer that way.
Where did it come from?
So NOLAC, like everybody knows what NOLAC is. Right. That was the basis, but I couldn't use that to necessarily generate a positive message. So I'm sitting there, and I was at Duquesne at the time. We were in Des Moines, Iowa. Call of Duty 3 came out on was it PS3? Whatever one you could play online. Mm-hmm. And one of my boys had it in his room, and he's just yelling. I'm like, what are you yelling about? And he's like, campers. I'm like, what the fuck is a camper over here? I'm like, what is a camper? And he's like, oh, it's these people that sit and don't play the game. I'm like, bro, you're a camper right now. Let's go. And then I went back, and I'm like, no one likes camper. And I wrote it out, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I got it. Yeah. I got it.
Were you doing clothing before this?
So funny, yes. My whole dream in life was always clothes. I was pre-teen, and I would sketch. And every time that I would sketch, I would save it. And one time I just went to my pops and was like, I'm sending these to Nike. He's like, what? And I'm like, send these to Nike. So I went to the library. I remember asking this woman, because I didn't know what a computer was. I didn't have a computer then. And they had one at the library, and I was like, can you get me an address? And they gave me the address, and I shipped them to Nike. I didn't hear anything from Nike. But you remember the N1 mixtapes?
Yeah.
This was, I'm talking Skip to My Lou, #1. Right, I found it in the dark web at I don't know, Foot Locker somewhere. You know how they promote it with clothes? Foot Locker had one, and I got one. I got obsessed with it. So all my shoes now, instead of Nike checks, I was drawing a faceless dude and writing N1. Mm-hmm. So I started sending them to them, and they started sending stuff back. Mm-hmm. Where every mixtape from 1 on, I had it, autographs, all that. And I was like,
from sketches.
Yeah, but it's why when a little kid comes up to me, I'm like, I don't care what your dream is, you're gonna do it. Right. Because at that moment, I was like, I could do anything. They care about me, they love this. And I was like, I'm gonna do this. This is what I'm gonna do forever. And from that point on, I always was interested. And this was probably 9/11 happened, and my uncle and pops, they had this idea, like, 'cause things were rough and we had to make some money. So he's like, we're gonna order blank hats, 10,000 of them with American flag, go door to door and sell them. And then it was like, we're gonna go to groups and we're gonna put the name of the group on the front of the hat to show pride in the country. And from there, I started to learn game from them, more so like the hustle.
Right.
Like, it's like, bro, you're gonna get the door slammed in your face. And then my uncle got a heat press he got from like, I don't know, like a flea market. It's probably from the 70s. And he'd pay me to do the work that he'd go out and sell. So I'd be in my parents' basement, like pressing shirts, learning how to do that, measurements, placements, all that stuff. So I learned the eye from doing the work. And then I got to high school and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely doing this. Because I was a weirdo. I was in art club. I was an athlete. I wanted to learn from all these different things. And then after school, I dropped out, moved to New York, modeled, and was like, this ain't what I want to do. Came back, worked again, this ain't what I want to do. And then I sold my car and everything I had and was like, this is what I want to do. Yeah. You know what you're willing to do if you sacrifice prior. Yeah. So now it's like, whenever I hit hard times, I'm like, you didn't have anything when you started.
Right.
If you're not willing to sacrifice everything once you're in it, why did you start? Because all the stuff I'm sacrificing now I only have because I sacrificed everything. Mm-hmm. So you get in that cycle and you're like, this is easy. You become habitual to sacrifice for more. And most people aren't willing to do that. That's why they land where they land. Or an athlete is a D1 talent, but they're not willing to sacrifice. They're not willing to get up. They're not willing to be on your schedule.
Yeah, that's crazy because like that point that you just made, that whenever you started, you didn't have anything, and then you got to be willing to sacrifice to be at that point again. Like, you have to have a different mindset to start with nothing, have what you have now, go back to nothing, and still say, like, listen, this is where I started at to begin with, so let's just keep rolling.
Yeah. I mean, and now again, remember, sometimes the sacrifice isn't your choice. Tough times hit people. Like, we're probably going to hit a recession. People are going to lose a lot. Mm-hmm. So for me, every time I saw an excuse everybody else had, oh, COVID happened, we're going to shut. This is my opportunity to shine. Mm-hmm. So the darker it gets, the brighter you are as a light, you're going to look. Like, if you go and you shut yourself out, okay, yeah, you're like everybody else. Now I'm going to look brighter the less light that's in the room.
Right.
And that's how I look at those things, where I'm like, I don't have to be the best. I have to be the most consistent and outlast the best. So if I'm there when no one else is there, I'm the only option. Even if I'm not, like, it's a monopoly. I run it because I didn't quit. But a lot of people go through those times, and that's fine. Not everybody's the same way in the capacity to keep going. But the more you sacrifice, it's like, I didn't come this far to come this far. Right. You stack up all those sacrifices, and that becomes your motivation. It's not necessarily the outcome. It's more so like, what was all this for? If I stop now. Right. Like, you get hurt, right? Okay, I got hurt. I'm sure you got hurt. I'm sure you got hurt. There's a lot of athletes, when they get hurt, it's like, I'm not coming back because they lose this. Mm-hmm. They got the burn here, but they lose this, and it's like, it's game over.
Yeah, game over. One other thing that you said that kind of I picked up on is, you said you were in the arts, you were an athlete. Typically, whenever you see the athletes, they're not hanging with the kids that are doing artsy things. What did you get out of being part of both of those communities?
I just learned why athletes are valued, and then why people that aren't athletes should be valued as well. You see both sides. There's balance in life, and for me, I just wanted to see all angles of life. I mean, you can't, but that's the pursuit for me. Mm-hmm. As an athlete, it was like, this ain't the only thing I am. And that's what happens with a lot of these kids, especially in certain communities. I'm sure you see it. They're told they're only an athlete. Oh, that's your future, that's it. And you condition their mind that that's all they are. It's like, bro, God gave you a box of talents. All the colors in the crayon box are yours. Don't let anybody tell you you're only this one color. Like, you pick which color you want to be. Pick that one, put it back, pick this one. Figure out which one you love, and that's the one you'll become. And I wanted to do that early on in my life, because if not, people will always tell you. I put a post up the other day, and it was on my Facebook, and I was just talking about how everybody told me what I should be. And I was like, I didn't even get to pick my name. I'm going to at least decide what I'm going to be in life.
Right.
But it's tough because whenever you hit a hard time, that person that quit's going to tell you to quit too because they don't know how to get through it. And that's not their fault. That's the best advice they can give. But if you don't like that advice, don't listen. Keep searching, and that's why I kept searching for things. If you're interested in it, do it. Don't worry about the stigma. Don't worry about what people think. You could be a hooper, a football player, and a ballerina. I don't care. You're an athlete. You could do anything because of this. Athletes have a different mental. So if you can apply the brain you get from athletics to effort and work in life and relationships, I mean, that's why you get kids into sports early. Learn how to work together and push through adversity. That's it.
Yeah.
So why tell kids they can't do something else with it?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Right.
Because like
that's what I was just about to say.
like the average kid is not thinking, okay, I can play sports and I can be an artist. Like, where did that? I know you said you wanted to walk through all different avenues in life and see different things, but where did that develop from?
It's not a good thing. Like, as a kid, I got kicked. My parents, I mean, God bless them, they had to deal with me a lot.
Right.
I got kicked out of second grade for asking why all the time. Because if I didn't, and it's not a thing that I lack the respect in an authority figure, but
Yeah, the reason.
because someone else said you're over me doesn't mean you're over me. That's a dangerous game to respect people too much, listen to authority too much. And for me, I would just ask why until I got an answer that I was like, that's enough. Now I have it and I can keep going. But a lot of adults never respect that in a child. And again, that's why I look at kids and I'm like, you could be anything you want. Keep asking me why. My favorite thing about my niece is she'll be like, why, uncle? Why? And I'm like, keep asking why. There's always an answer if you keep asking why. It may not be the one you like.
Right. But you keep asking why until it makes sense to you.
Because if not, how can you, if you're building a house, right, and that brick isn't laid perfectly, why are you going to move on past it? Well, why would you do that? Like, you're hurting your future now. So for me, I'm like, look, if it takes me 2 years to put this brick in this spot for it to settle, I'm giving it 2 years. Because I don't want to get further ahead, feel like I'm good, and then this brick starts moving and everything was a house of cards because I didn't take the time to build a strong foundation. But I don't know. The mindset's always been that way, but it was more of a, I don't have another choice.
Right.
If I wanted to be like everybody else, it's real easy. I just watch them and act like them.
Yeah.
But to be yourself, to truly be an individual, you gotta be yourself and stand by yourself. And it's lonely, and you gotta get yelled at.
Yeah.
Because what's the Japanese proverb? The nail that sticks out gets hammered in.
Yeah.
You just can't keep letting yourself stay in if you get hammered in. It's like, pop back up.
Right.
Ask again. There's respect in that. And as I grew in my life, it was tough. Don't get me wrong. My early 18 to 24 was probably the hardest time of my life because people want to put you in that box. Because you come out and you were an athlete and you have the mindset of one and you're trying to apply that, but the efforts aren't always the same way. I can't go in the gym and get further ahead in my business. It just doesn't work that way. I go to the gym now to free my mind of the business, so then when I get back to the desk, I'm clear. I see it. You know, the turmoil, my body's down. I'm like, okay, I got a clear head now. So I just go back to the lessons sports have. They're priceless. They're priceless. But you need people to confirm them like you two. You need people sitting in this chair to keep telling these kids like, hey, every coach isn't going to be a good coach.
Right.
That's a fact.
We all had terrible ones.
Right. So never let a bad coach take your love away from something. Never let somebody tell you what you can't be stop you from becoming what you want to be.
Right.
That's it. Like, I mean, the coaching staff where we currently are, no. Like, I talk to the kids crazy. As soon as that, I'm giving them a hug and like, look, I love you. I have no reason to care about you, but I do. You're stuck with me. Even if I'm not allowed to be on the sideline right now, like, I'm checking on all of you. I'm in your corner. Because, I mean, you two played at a high level. How many other players from your class played at that level? 5% maybe? And I'm talking in the whole WIPIO. There's probably 5% of your graduating classes that played Division I football.
Like that.
Okay, we'll cut it down to 3.
Yeah.
So when I look at a room of young men in any sport, you have to understand those odds. Your job isn't to get every kid Division I. Your job is to make the kid get everything out of himself in the future. It's, like I coached Mount Lebanon basketball for 4 years. Those kids as seniors went undefeated state championship, and 6 of them are on athletic scholarships now. So it's like you look at that and you're like, it's amazing. None of them are hoopers though.
Right.
Not a single one of them are hooping in college. But the things you teach and the confirmations from coaches and family members after that, they put kids in a better spot. And the problem as a coach, and I'm sure you guys see it now, kids don't see or appreciate it until they're 24 and 25.
Right. We say that all the time. You come back, like, I should have listened to you. I should have did this, should have did that. Don't be a shoulda person. I always say that all the time. Don't be a shoulda person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you take what we try to give you now, you'll go far.
But remember, it's the test, then the lesson. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. If people give you a lesson and you're like, I'm never going to need to take the knowledge from that because I'm never going to have that test, and you just throw it to the side, when you take the test, it's still the test, and then you go find that paper you threw away, you read it, and you're like, damn, DB was right. And then they're going to come and they're going to apologize. And that, for me, that's the most respectable thing, is the kids that come back and they can look at you like a sad dog, put their head down and be like, hey,
admit it. Yeah.
But you're grown, so you give them a hug and you're like, I know, I'm with you. I'm never going to quit on you because you didn't see what I could see. I could only see that in hindsight because I went through it and I messed up.
Experience is the biggest teacher.
Yep.
That's how it is.
Yep, and you only grow through the pain. So you got to almost let people do those things. You just got to sit next to them the whole time.
Right.
It's the kid that is a D1 prospect that tears his ACL.
Yeah.
You got to be with him the whole time. And you got to let him know whatever you want to do, I'm with you. I'm not with you because you're a potential D1 athlete. There are a lot of sharks in the fucking grass. And they're seeing these kids, especially with NIL, especially with the bags being thrown around in college now. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, today, I was talking to a friend of mine who's the number 2 agent at Clutch. And we're talking about some things with kids. And it's like, there's sharks in the water, man. And the problem is these agents, they'll build a roster and then they just let them fight, and they're churning that butter, hoping it turns into cream and one pops out. They only worry about the one that comes out. They're not in there fighting to make you better.
Fish in the ocean.
And that's the thing. So a lot of these kids don't realize whenever there's dollars involved now, it is a business.
100%.
But they need support in that because, bro, they're kids. If you're 15 to 18 years old, your world is small. I mean, think about the kids in the port. I remember the first time they came down here, it was like Kennywood. Yeah. They were like, Coach, this is the best day of my life because I let them walk the block, do whatever, experience life. Like, you need something, I'm here. But go do your thing. You have to see what the world has to see what you could become.
Right.
I mean, you're sadly a product of your environment always. So if you can't expand that environment, people all around you aren't trying, then you get stuck.
Right. That's why we do what we do, because a lot of those kids, you got kids in McKeesport that's never been to Pittsburgh, right?
Been across the bridge.
Never been across the bridge. If they come to the summertime, they probably don't even leave their own projects for a whole week, right? And then that's why we do what we do, try to take them to different college campuses and give them different experiences.
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody, we were doing an documentary they're doing for football, and I was telling them, like, I live in McKeesport now, but I live in a port now where I've never been to in my life.
Right.
But it's McKeesport. As a kid growing up, I knew nothing about it, but it's McKeesport. So, like, I didn't go across that bridge where the police station is, then go across that Duque. I stayed over there, and that's the only part we consider McKeesport. Yeah. So, like, once you eventually got older, you grew and you see more things, and I'm just like, man, this is McKeesport. It's nice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. People don't understand how big the pool is.
It really is. Like, you think about 4A, you think about like the classifications, right?
Yeah.
And you think about Clarion, and you think about those other schools who are smaller classifications. You're like, McKeesport
like that
much bigger than Clarion, right? But then you think about, how big it really is.
It's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy. A lot of the school districts have shrunk though. Like a lot. Because my graduating class was damn near 800 kids. And now that school's putting out like 400. So they build these smaller schools though too. Like they got
pick it from.
Yeah, I'm like, this school's small as heck. So for real, they built a new school and I was like, that's
in Bethel Park?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. And it's small. That was when was that?
I think 2013.
Yeah, so it was way after I was going. Yeah, because our other brother was the first one through it. Crazy.
So, with your parents, because you said they bought, well, your dad and your uncle bought 10,000 hats.
Yeah.
And, went door to door. Is that kind of where you got your
my
passion
pops,
from?
it was the hustle. Like, they're McKeesport, born and bred, Jefferson Street. Like, that's where I spent my weekends. My uncle, bro, the dude that runs every day.
Yeah.
That is instilled. Like, that's why I work out every day. That's just in our DNA. Like,
Since we was younger, I've been saying we little tigers.
From McKeesport, if you don't know. Yeah.
bro,
Wolfman, we call him Wolfman.
That's what I'm saying. He knows. Cause Troy would tell. Well, that's how me and Troy got so
Right,
close.
yeah, because he gave your uncle birthday.
Yeah, he had eye surgery, and he was like, "Why are you running?" He's like, "Or why are you walking?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I had eye surgery."
Simple conversations with someone.
Yep. And I reached out and I was like, "Yo, that's something I would do. Like, I respect the hell out you, bro. Like, whatever you need, I'm here. I want to get closer. Like, I appreciate it." But back to it, it was just. It was always like, okay, if you don't have a choice, you're going to figure it out. So I was like, I don't want to be somebody that always has to figure it out because I don't have a choice. I want to work hard enough that I can choose what I want. Right. So I learned early, like, I didn't want to do that. Like, I don't want to have a family have to hustle hats and do small things to take care of them just because I trust it, right? Like, you go in corporate America, like, you're a number. If you die, they're not even coming to your funeral. They're just on the phone trying to replace you. Right. So I was like, I don't want that. I want to be an employer someday. I want to make sure my guys, whatever I do, like, you're getting a piece of this. Right. Like, I want to make sure that, yeah, this is my dream, but I hope that gives you the hope to have a dream and pursue your dream. Because if you're close to me and I can do it, I know you can do it. I'm telling you can do it. Here's how I'm doing it. Watch me. Don't disrespect my efforts. So that's why if I go in a room, bro, like, I want to change the mindset of a room. I want to know that I'm there for you and what you want to do, and if I could help, I'm doing it. Now, I got to put my oxygen mask on first, and I made a small problem like that as a kid. When I say kid, like early 20s, where I wanted to help everybody. Yeah. I still do. But you can't give love unless you have love. So it's like, make sure you do what you need to love yourself and you're fulfilled. Right. Then you'll go and change the community, the country, whatever. It doesn't even matter. Just change one person's life. That's it.
So I asked that question to say, what was the feedback whenever you left college and said, you know what, I'm going to start this?
Let's figure it out.
All right, so I'm setting this. I know my mother wouldn't be proud of this, but she didn't talk to me probably for 2 years. You don't finish anything, that. Yeah. Now in her defense, like 2 weeks ago, she got my brand tattooed on her. So what I'm trying to say is the people that love you most will try to stop you from hurting yourself because they know they can't help you now. And it's not they're trying to interfere with your dreams. They're scared and they're just projecting that fear upon you. They don't want you to hurt. They love you. Okay, like, I gotta do me. Are you gonna love me if I fail? Then let me fail. It was like I said earlier, that's something that I learned. Like,
that's deep.
It's real. Like, it's the saying, if you love something, let it go. And if it comes back as truly yours, like, it's your kid. If I screwed up, if I'm on the street, ass out, can't handle anything, you're gonna not love me now? You're probably gonna love me more. Because I took the risk. Okay, go take the risk. I'm gonna pick you back up, dust your ass off, and tell you, go ahead. You learn how to fail now, fail forward. That's all. But yeah, I mean, you will get scrutiny. That's it. That's it. Like, but someone's always gonna have something to say. Either way. So it's like, make sure you just stay true. Like, I have it on there, bro. Stay true. Like, you have to. Yeah. It's yours. It's you versus you. Like, put the blinders on. Do what you need to do. People don't like it. But in time, they will respect it, and it will inspire them. It's tough.
How crazy is it that you went from dropping out of college, your mom not talking to you for 2 years, to having the biggest athletes in the world in your brand with your mom with the tattoo of it? That turnaround is crazy.
It's life. It's like I said, man. Like, I look at life. We're all on a track, right? And at times we pass each other and we forget where we are now. So like by the time you're an adult, everybody's on this track and no one knows what lap they're on.
Right.
So I'm just on a lap where I'm like, every time I go around, you know, you pick up a different site, you pick up something. So now I know the path enough where I'm like, life is cyclical. It will always come full circle if you keep running on that lap. Some people stop, some people just leave, some people are sitting there. I'm just going. And I know that everything will come full circle. And with the athletes, it's like Giannis, I got introduced to when he was training at IMG with his brother Thanasis, with a good friend of mine, an old teammate at Duquesne named Aaron Jackson. And he was like 16 or 17 years old. I don't even think he could speak English. And God bless Aaron, who to this day, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for his love and support. He was just like, yo, I'm telling you, this kid's a leaguer. He was like 6'5".
Yeah.
He was like, get him some stuff. And him and Thanasis, it's those real, genuine relationships. I mean, Tyler Boyd used to meet me here when he was at Pitt. He had his old, like I say to this day, bro, like you remember the Charger and the trunk days? He'd meet me down here and he'd be like, pop the trunk, bro, I'm supporting. And it's real love in those relationships. If it's not genuine, I don't want it. Like I literally dropped a shirt that says, give me something real. And when it comes out, people are like, damn. Because it's just, we live in a fake society. So if it isn't a real relationship, I don't want it. I've said no to a lot of really influential people because it just didn't feel right. Are you going to open your house to somebody that don't feel right? Like, it's your life. If it don't feel right, they're not right. Trust it.
I remember rocking some NOLAC shirt. I don't know if you remember. We met, I don't know what year. Rose was playing for the Steelers.
Yeah.
That's where we met through. And you would always hook him up. He had like hella extra stuff.
Yeah.
And we going out. I'm in sweats. I mean, he's like, come on, you want to go? I'm like, no, I'm chilling. Man, here, throw this on. And NOLAC shirt, first time wearing it. Comfortable as hell. I'm like, oh. And we run into him. And he was like, everybody like, oh, hey, oh. Dapped up, cool, genuine dude. Yeah. From there, just every time you see him, just respect. Hey, what's up, bro? No lie. I was like, oh, okay. Let me get some more. Like, but like you said, he opened that door because, you know, you felt like it was much respect. Never met him, never met me. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh, what's up, bro? And it wasn't no like, I'm too good for you. Nothing. Sat there, had a quick little 2-minute conversation, smile, ha. Seeing him again without Rose. What's up, bro? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So it just made you like, I want to support him. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm going to cop something, grab something, order something. Like, you know what I mean? Things like that, which is genuine, bro.
No, it means a lot.
So seeing that you speak about that and like really like knowing it, you know what I mean, it's real.
No, that's humbling to hear. It's like Drake says, it's nice to know you are who you think you are.
Right.
That's all. And so I appreciate that confirmation. And God bless Rosie, man. I'll never forget. He's like, heard you the NOLAC dude. 'Cause I was in the locker room, D'Angelo Williams brought me in, and like everybody started hawking. And I'm pretty sure Rosie got a tattoo, like it was when he lived in the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
So this was probably 2015?
Yeah, it was early.
It was a minute ago. And then God bless him, you saw what he did the next 2 years.
Yeah.
It was like, that's amazing. Like it was this, and actually he introduced me to Marcus Wheaton. And like to this day, Tay's like he's a foundational person in my life. We don't get to talk a lot. He's busy. He got a beautiful family. But you know those friends you check in with, and you're like, bro, we didn't miss a beat.
He out there.
I love him,
now. When I was out there.
Yeah, because Rome's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, bro. It's just. But again, I wouldn't have this relationship if I didn't do what I wanted to do.
Right.
And it's no slight to anybody that's doing something they don't want to do. I'm just saying you can still do whatever you want to do. You just have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to take the risk. You have to be able to trust God pulling you back to shoot you forward, and some people can't. And that's okay. Like, it's okay.
You do a lot of, like, with your clothing line, you do a lot of sayings on your shirts and stuff like that. Where does that come from?
It's wild. So, like, all of them are my writing. So, and every time I would write something when I was going through it. Mm-hmm. And it would just be small things, like to stay true. I would just be going through an emotion, and I would keep saying it. Stay true, bro, stay true. And then I write it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to put that on a shirt and see, and it would sell out. And I'm like, this is cool. Or like patience and persistence. It was the same thing.
My favorite one, what you got on now, Beautiful Struggle.
Yeah.
The one with the road.
So that's they're all my handwriting, and so I think this was like 20, oh man, it was early, and I broke up with my girl. or like she broke over.
I was about to say, tell the real story.
Like, I don't really remember, but God bless her because she's doing better without me, I hope. So I wrote it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, so when you fall in love, you start dating a girl, what do you get her? A red rose, right? But I've been in funerals, and when someone dies, what do you put on the coffin before they put it in the ground? A red rose. So I looked at it as the beautiful struggle is the beginning and the end of something beautiful, but you're always going to struggle. And I wrote that, and I teared up, and I was like, this is it. Like, I have goosebumps. You see it right now? Like, I don't think you guys understand. When I know it, like, I know it. And nothing will get in the way of me trying to prove that to myself. No one else but myself. Right. And that was just one that I was just like, okay. And I remember I distress everything. Mm-hmm. So I was hand distressing hoodies and hats, trying to, like, just get that, like, shit out. Right. Like, I want to get this out. Like, so you're cutting things up. I got a razor. I probably cut myself 4 or 5 times. But it was cool. It was the creative process. And, you know, I'm thankful that it actually was received. Because, I mean, when I think about it, I probably would say over a dozen people have that tattooed that I know of. Right. And I'll probably get a DM a week of somebody getting another one tattooed.
That's tough.
And it's not like I'm responsible for it.
Yeah, no.
I didn't
feel it. Like, it's something deep. Like, that's why I said that's probably one of my favorite, because the thing about different, like you said, different emotions that come with it.
I'll get you, bro. You could pick, get a shirt and a hoodie.
DV got it tatted on his butt.
Chill. That one I will charge him because that shouldn't have happened, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, we respect them rulers, man. You know, they run with them, man.
You sure you want this? Is it on, like, both? Like,
1 and 1. Meet me in the middle.
Beautiful struggle, yeah, with a rose in the middle.
There we go. This one sounds so bad.
Definitely went great.
Oh my God.
But that's dope, man, because and it's inspiring. Like, all of the quotes that you have on your clothing is something that people.
It's like a meaning. Like,
Well, I try to open it up where, like, just because it means this to me, they're just. When I say just, words are just words until you use them with meaning. Right. And I can give you a broad scope of that by putting words together. But whatever you're going through, that beautiful struggle
should be something different for everyone. Yeah, I just got a tattoo of like a half face with like crying blood tears, and it's up for interpretation. However you interpret it is how whatever the tattoo means to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To me, it's just like a broken man that went through pain but still a man. To somebody else, it's something else. Like, you know what I mean? So, like you say, your slogans, your words is just. Or you could say, all right, patience and persistence mean this to me, and that means it's gonna mean to you.
Exactly, and I try not to enamor anything, force anything down anyone's throat to say you gotta listen. More so ear, but you understand what I'm saying? Like you describe it to me, because then I'll grow in my ability to create. So if I don't listen to the people that consume, what's the point of creating? Now, mind you, I still do what I want to do, but I learn every time I do it and expand my horizons of my creative. That's what life is. Like, it's a beautiful dance where everybody plays a part. You just gotta fight to find what part that is. People will place you on whichever one they need. Right. If I'm missing a piece, you know, you ever play like any game and you're missing a piece, you'll put anything in, you'll be like, yo, that's this now.
Right.
People do that to people in life. They'll place you on their game. Like, don't get gamed by somebody. Be the master of your own. Like, that's all. I'm done preaching on that.
It's powerful, right? And even on the other side of that, whenever you talk about it's all subjective, right? You see it one way, he sees it another way. But there's also people who see it the same exact way that you see it, right? And it's like affirmation that you're not going through this alone, right? There's somebody else feeling the same exact way that you feel.
That is beautiful. That was so well said, because it's true. So you're never truly alone, even when you feel alone. Mm-hmm. So don't ever tell yourself you're truly alone.
I feel like you're about to come up with something in the next couple months with that.
Oh, you'll be. If I showed you, the dollar store. I go to the dollar store as much as I can and buy composition notebooks, and I just write. So whenever I read a book, I'll take notes against the book. So I'm reading. It's called Power vs. Force, and this is my 3rd time now in a row reading it. So the first time I took my notes and I challenged the author, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read this again, and now I'm challenging myself, because if I don't challenge my own thoughts on what I just took in,
I feel you're right.
I'm just building my ego. No, I want to learn. And if my ego's on, I can't learn. So you got to go against yourself. Because how many times have you been in the middle of a conversation with somebody and you tend to go down this path that you normally do, but you told yourself you didn't, and you hit those brakes so hard, and you take a deep breath, and you're like, man, this is going to be hard, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Or you just stop talking, and you're like, oh, I just grew.
Right.
That's what I try to do consistently. So yeah, bro, those notebooks, that's all I do. And then I'll scribble out. And then sometimes I'll take one from this note and that note in my ideas and mix them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like, but that's why he hates me. Like, he better not. But I say things to people, like, he'll tell you how many times, if you're in my circle, I will lose it on you. Because I'm saying these things and doing these things and acting a certain way. And what I always tell him, if it's not written, it doesn't exist. Because if you can't pull it out of here and put it onto paper and look at that thing that you just created, now that is in reality, that's tangible. Hold yourself to that. People are afraid of that. That's why I write. Because then I have to go back and reread it and be like, damn, you didn't grow. Or you reread it and you're like, look at me. I'm better. Sure. But you can only see that if indeed you marked it. And sometimes in life, there aren't these checks to go back and say, hey, that was a great moment. Or, hey, you could have grown here. Hey, you could have been better here. But if you write and you pull out how you feel and you pull out how you want to feel and you pull out where you are, where you want to be, that's your roadmap now.
That's crazy you say that, because now you just motivated me to get back, because I used to do it like at the end of every day, and I got a running document. It's called the daily wrap up, and I would just write everything that I learned that day, right? Anything that happened, how it made me feel, you know, and then
Your daughter.
yeah.
Now think about that.
Right.
Imagine when they're older.
Right.
And you're like, this is how Dad felt when you did this.
Right.
I know you don't even remember it, but this is how I felt.
Right.
So every time I tell you I love you, remember, there's things that you don't even know that make me love you.
That's
It's
true.
cool, bro. Like, it's a
is.
beautiful thing.
It's dope. I gotta
and you
run.
can give that to him on the wedding day.
Time to know the story close.
I gotta
Bro, you gotta leverage the dollar store, not Dollar General. Dollar Tree, like, cause you'll get caught up in Dollar General and be like, yo, why is that $8? They'll catch you. I'm telling you.
The Dollar Tree, they up to like $1.50 now, don't
Really?
they? Add like
Tax. That's just tax.
No, it's like $1.25 now. I seen something.
You be getting the flank steaks.
Inflation taking everything up, dog.
That daily wrap up's actually on that computer right there.
Get back into it, bro. You
Yeah.
should. Even if it's just like a couple sentences, it's always nice to pull that out. Because then, if it's a bad day, you actually pull that out and you get out of it, you go to sleep, and it's a new day now.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not bringing that BS from yesterday in. I put that on that paper, it's written, it exists there, not in here or in here. I'm done with it.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's fun, man. Like, it's hard though. Because I'm still human. I still wake up. I still am sad. I might have had a dream I didn't want to have. I might have had a nightmare.
Yeah.
But okay, we're here.
Yeah. So earlier you talked about, like, you know, hitting those low points, you know, dark times. And those times for you, when you did or you do, what do you lean on most?
The harder times before. And that's the thing, like, you go through certain moments in your life and you don't realize they're going to be the hardest. But the worst thing you went through, is the worst thing you too went through. So there's no need to challenge that and we compare. Like, so I go back and I think about it. I had 9 surgeries on this leg. I was $600,000 in debt. I couldn't pay for anything. I had a whole like print shop. It was like 6,000 square feet, multi-head, whatever. We were doing stuff for Giant Eagle Construct, whatever. It was fun. Lost all that. So now when I go through stuff, I'm like, that's why I said with sacrifices, that was God's plan. I have it tattooed. Man plans, God laughs. Like, that was not in my plan. That was in his plan. And I had to break. I had to cry. I had to fold a little bit and get back up and be like, okay, cool. I'm good. I'm good. So now when I hit adversity, I'm like, it ain't worse than that. And if it is, I got through that, so I'm stronger this time. So God gave me a harder card to deal with because he knows I'm stronger. I don't want a smooth sea, man. That's boring.
Right.
Like, it's too predictable. The challenge is the fun part. I think you said it. Like pain is growth.
Right.
You know, you have to go through those failures and losses. I have it on that hoodie. I say it every time I pray. Losses, lessons, and blessings. I gave it to the whole team.
Yeah,
because it's just like that. I say it every time I pray because it's true, man. Like, it's true.
That's a fact. I mean, you think about, right, everything that you go through and the things that you learn from it, and then you look back on what happened and what you went through, and it's like, man, I can't believe that I was able to survive that. Mm-hmm. Then you go through something else, and now you know you're strong enough to survive it because you already did.
That's exactly it. Still doesn't make you want to.
Right.
You're right.
You know, that's the thing. Like, because we are, like, it's so hard to forget or act like you're not human. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have fear still. You gotta retrain your brain, like, yeah, I'm scared, but I'm gonna do it.
It's crazy that, like, that problem-solving aspect of being a business owner, right? Mm-hmm. The problem-solving aspect. We were just having a conversation yesterday at my dad's house. Like, Elon Musk, he doesn't hire people because they have degrees, right? Through the interview process, he gives them a problem, and he says, solve this problem. Yeah. And that's how he chooses his employees. And that's what you're going to do, right? That's how you live life. You live life solving problems every day.
Yeah.
Right? And those who are not successful are people who just give up on the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Scared to face that problem.
Yeah. So that's what it is. So you've been local with, Aliquippa, McKeesport, things like that. How'd you get in touch with Oak Hill and do that venture?
So it was wild, man. Actually, so my man B-Rock, so he's been with the program for years and years, and he was on the Instagram, and I was like, hey, bro, like, how'd you come on Instagram? And he was like, oh, I see this stuff. Like, I love it. I'm like, that's dope, love. Like, that's amazing. And he sent me some stuff. We went back and forth. And he went on my personal page. And he was like, I saw your videos and stuff. Would you ever want to come down and talk to the team? And I'm like, Coach, like, I don't think you understand what Oak Hill is in basketball, but, like, that's Carmelo Anthony, bro. Like, I'm 07. I was there. Like, that's Ty Lawson. Like, dogs. Like, you play for Coach Smith, dog. Right. Like, you don't get to pick to go there. He picks you to go there.
Right.
And it just so happens that Coach Smith stepped down and my guy, Coach Stoneman, stepped up. An incredible, incredible human being. And they're building something different within the same parameters of Oak Hill Academy. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's where that's at full circle. My dream, like, yeah, every hooper wanted to play at Oak Hill. Mm-hmm. Little did I know I want to be playing there, but I still stepped foot on it. I mean, the way they treated my brother, we went down there and we were family. Right. I just went back down a couple weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving, and, catch a game and just, it's humbling. I mean, it's humbling, and the network you got from that. I mean, literally, like, I talk to Ty Lawson every other day now, and we just check in on each other's business ventures. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is the craziest thing in the world. Yeah, like, it's the craziest thing in the world to be like, that's, like, hey, like, this is cool. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't realize it because I tell people this at the end of the day, humans are humans. Other humans glorify them, but I want to know. I've met a lot of people, too, where I'm like, oh, I don't like you at all. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're not what you present to be. Right. But then I meet people where I'm like, wow, like, this person deserves everything and more than what they have. Right. They're an incredible person. Right. I understand why you are who you are.
Absolutely. And I love whenever, you meet those people and you're like, I'm so happy that you have
everything you could.
Right. Yeah. That's dope. So you've been around a ton of elite athletes, right?
I've been blessed, yeah.
Not even just knowing them, right? You've seen high school athletes that have been elite, being in McKeesport, Aliquippa. You've just been around it. What are a few things that all elite athletes have that you've been able to witness?
Discipline. I mean, the
hesitation.
Discipline. It's the kids that I was at Oak Hill and for that last game, and their point guard, he missed I want to say he missed 2 or 3 free throws. I think they won by 30. Mm-hmm. No lie, I'm downstairs talking to coaches. I think we were eating pizza. I go back up 2 hours later, he's still in the gym shooting free throws. Like, he took it personally. Because that really it was him versus him on a free throw line and he didn't want to miss. So it's things like that I notice, or, you know, staying later, doing film on your own, getting in when no one said you have to get in, being prepared before the team's even there. So while they're stretching, you're warming up. While they're stretching, you're getting shots up. You're in the weight room, you're already sweating because you did your cardio just to warm up, and you stay after and do sprints. That's the difference. I mean, it's easy. For me, you obviously have to have the tangibles, and that's one thing that it doesn't matter how hard you work at times. If you're 5'6", the odds of getting to the NBA. I think what you had, Spud Webb and Muggsy Bogues, and then what is the other dude? Earl Boykins. I forgot. Yeah, Nate too. So you look at Isaiah Thomas, but you look at Nate and Isaiah, and you look at how hard those two worked. It's like it makes sense. So I mean, I say discipline. And obviously, I think part of discipline is consistency. They go hand in hand for me, just to be clear. But that's it. That's the singular thing.
Yeah. So, to get closer to wrapping it up, what is something that you would tell someone who wants to start something like NOLAC, or any
scared to
any dream that they're having, but they're scared to do it?
Embrace failures. Let yourself get buried and have your boys pull that weight off your chest. Because until you know what that feels like, you're going to be fearful of it forever. So it's like, get the fear out of your eyes. Face it now. And the moment you face it by starting, it's what I said earlier. You've made that sacrifice. Now you're going to keep yourself consistent with that if you keep giving up. But you have to start. I can't tell you, like, probably a couple years ago, if someone came in here and had an idea, I'd give them my time. And now, my time I value more. So when people come in here, and if they didn't start, I'm like, hey, look, start and come back and I'll help you. And I don't see a lot of the people.
Right.
But that's the difference, because now I can't go and give you anything. I can give you wisdom. I can't make you think or apply it. And if you don't think, then you're not going to pull your own wisdom from that. So I know you're not going to apply it. Or if you do, you're always going to come back for me, and I'm going to be doing the job for you. We know how that is for an athlete. You can't lift their weights. You can't shoot their shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't.
Play the game for you.
And as coaches and being around student athletes, that they don't understand how frustrated we get. Because I know you know how to get there. Like, if I had coaches that played D1 football, I'm going to be like, hey, coach, what do I got to do? Hey, coach, what's it like at the next level? Hey, coach, why?
Right.
That's why, I hate to say it, but that's why I'm sitting in this seat. That's why y'all are sitting in these seats. That's why you have the resumes you have as athletes. But that's also why you're giving back to these athletes. Because you know, and I hope these athletes know to listen. I hope these athletes know that DBs is cool. Hey, can I get some help? Can I get some direction? Hey, I want to play Division I. Like, what I got to do? I mean, you look at that team. How many times did Bobby Boy ask you how to get D1? You see what I mean? So it's like you have all this at your disposal, and if you don't ask, a closed mouth never gets fed. So these kids got to understand, like, bro, turn off the highlights. Go create some and don't post them. Like, go put the work in while the doors are closed and everybody else is sleeping. That's what the separating factor is. I know you're in the gym with your pops at 4 a.m. I know he had you going. I know you learned that. I know you were in there working. And that's like, you were disciplined, bro. Like, it's simple stuff.
It's something, like my dad was, it only counts when no one's watching. That's the biggest thing that always stayed with me. It always counts when no one's watching. Anybody, when the lights come on, anybody can play. Yeah. I mean, but what did you do to get to this point? Because, you know, and I say this all the time, there's what, football, let's talk about football, there's, in college, 12 games. So we only see you 12 times. What about those other 350 days that we're not watching? What are you doing? You know what I mean? And so you don't understand that I put my blood, sweat, and tears for 350 days, and you're going to judge me on this one day? No, I don't work like that. You know what I mean? It's much more, much deeper than that. Yeah. So it only counts when no one's watching. Stuck with me for everything.
But that's also, and you saying that's great. If you have a bad game, I had a bad game. That's one game, one day. I'm going to put that work in after. I'm going to be on the free throw line for 2 hours. I'm going to be in the weight room. I'm going to be watching film as soon as it hits that iPad. Because it's unacceptable.
Right.
But it happened.
Right. Can you do about it? Let it go.
Exactly. You could outwork any issue, always. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
Like one of the sayings I say is the work always works. If you focus on the work, the outcome's guaranteed. You can't worry about the outcome. Your head's down working.
Right.
You're in the trenches. Like, when you pick your head up, the whole world's gonna look a lot different.
Right.
You might be in a different car, a different town, a different house, a different friend group, a different bank account. Everything will look different, but keep your head down until you feel that you're done with the work. You'll know.
Right.
You'll know.
Motivation outlasts, and that's one thing I've been preaching to myself, especially this year, and to my players. If you stay motivated towards something, I don't care what it is, success is going to eventually follow. It might not follow in how you say, because you're motivated towards sports.
Yeah.
You know, success followed you not in sports, but now into this business aspect of the world. Like, you know, so if you stay motivated towards something, success is going to follow. And then when success comes, you know, you automatically develop a love. You know, and once you're in love, now you create like that I want mentality.
Yeah.
I want to be great.
Right.
I want to do this. And not that I have to do this, I want to do it. Like, you know what I mean? So once that develops, I mean, you can't be touched.
Yeah, that's why I would say greatness is a lifestyle, man.
Right.
Right? You can't apply this greatness to just one thing and not to the other aspects of your life, because it's going to catch up to you.
Exactly.
You know, if that's not part of who you are, whenever things go wrong, then you're not going to be able to cope with it.
Right.
Yeah, so
100%.
And that's the wild part. Like I tell people, like, don't be afraid to succeed. Don't be afraid of success, because there's kids I've talked to on that basketball team. I'm like, I really think you're afraid to succeed. And it's okay, because you can be scared of the unknown, but you can't be scared of a better. Make it better. You control your destiny. Don't be scared of the success you deserve. Put the work in. But it's scary to succeed, because now guess what happens with success? Pressure. And pressure is a privilege. And a lot of people can't handle that. I know for me, it took me a long time. I broke many a times when that pressure hit, and I'm like, oh, that's a busted pipe.
Yeah, pressure bust pipes.
But it's like, dog, like, I can't quit. I can't. So I want to succeed. But there's levels to the successes. Like TV says, bro, there's levels. Like, there's certain things, but that's why I value the friends that I have. It's just like, yeah, that's my boy. You know, we say that. We say what's understood never needs explained. So if there's work to do, I don't even need to say it, bro. I know you're going to do it. You already know what it is. And that's the thing. If you enamor that into your athletes, you just look at them. And they're like, I got you, coach. I got you.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, right.
And you see it all the time, right? You see whenever you got a kid, you just look at him, he look at you, and you don't even got to say nothing. You just know.
And it's the best feeling. As a coach,
Like you said,
I'm like, I got a killer. Like, this is
You got
it.
that dog mentality.
I got goosebumps again. Like, I'm not kidding. That stuff moves me, because I'm like, you get it. I don't even need, I did my job. Now it's on you. I can trust you. Leave. You're good. But that's tough, man. Like, that's the discipline through y'all and doing this and staying consistent and keep giving game to kids for free. I don't think people realize that. Like, this is free.
Right, absolutely.
You better consume it, because you're paying for Netflix. You're paying for Hulu. Ain't nothing on there is going to teach them like y'all like that. But again, you got to stay consistent. Your pedestal will grow. And I tell people this all the time. You walk into a big city, you're staring up at the tallest building. So you got to build this up, separate yourself, outlast everybody else. They don't care about Hulu anymore, because you're on it. Like, we're on it. Now what's your excuse?
Facts.
No, man, we appreciate you.
No, always. No, it's a blessing. I
trying to do this for you,
I appreciate it.
And it was everything and more of what we expected.
I
appreciate
just talk my
You
shit.
definitely dropped some knowledge, bro. I mean, I can see where, like, you know what I mean, the quotes and the slogans come from. Just in the conversation. It's natural.
Right. It's funny, because whenever I go through and I cut it up and I like post this stuff on Instagram, our whole status page about to be jammed.
Right.
From this conversation.
So a nice song on it.
You're gonna be scrolling like, is this Jerry's page?
No, that's love. That's love. It's, I mean, if, like you said, if you do it long enough, I I'm deep, bro. Like, I'm the abyss. This, the heart, the soul, that's the abyss. And I get lost in it sometimes. But it's fun getting lost in yourself. Because then you come out on the other side and you're like, I'm not scared of anything.
Right.
Like, I'm cool. It's a blessing, man. So it was cool. I appreciate it.
No, definitely
appreciate you, man. So whatever you continue to support, man, we appreciate y'all. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff.
Check out NOLAC when you get a chance.
Yep.
NOLAC on the south side. What's the address of the spot?
1214 East Carson Street.
1214 East Carson Street. Won't be disappointed. So, like I said, we appreciate you again, man.
Thank you both. I appreciate your time.
Till next time.
This is Status.